Good evening and welcome. We're coming to you live with breaking news from across Canada. Our top story tonight: the federal government has unveiled a new, ambitious climate action plan aimed at accelerating the country's transition to a green economy. In a press conference held this morning in Ottawa, the Minister of Environment and Climate Change outlined a multi-billion-dollar investment in renewable energy projects, electric vehicle infrastructure, and a significant expansion of the national carbon pricing system. The plan, titled Canada's Green Future, aims to reduce national emissions by an additional 15% beyond current targets by 2035. The NLOTN has drawn a mixed reaction. Environmental groups are cautiously optimistic, praising the increased investment but questioning if the targets are aggressive enough to meet international commitments. Meanwhile, industry leaders in the energy sector have expressed concerns about the economic impact, particularly in Western provinces, and are calling for more detailed consultations on the transition process for workers. The Prime Minister stated that this initiative is not just an environmental necessity, but a generational economic opportunity, promising the creation of thousands of new jobs in clean technology and sustainable industries. The full proposal is set to be debated in the House of Commons next week, and we can expect a fiery session as opposition parties have already signaled their intent to challenge several key components of the plan. Turning to the economy, Statistics Canada released its latest job market report this morning, and the numbers are painting a complex picture. The national unemployment rate held steady at 5.5%, a figure that surprised many economists who had predicted a slight increase. The economy added 30,000 new jobs last month, primarily in the healthcare and technology sectors. However, the report also highlights a growing concern: a slowdown in full-time employment growth, with a majority of new positions being part-time or contract-based. This trend is fueling a national conversation about job security and the rising gig economy in major cities like Toronto and Vancouver, while tech jobs are booming. The high cost of living continues to be a major challenge for many residents. In response to the data, the Bank of Canada has indicated it will maintain its current key interest rate, adopting a wait-and-see approach as it monitors inflation and global economic pressures. Business councils are urging the government to introduce measures that encourage the creation of more stable, full-time positions to ensure long-term economic stability for Canadian families. In a significant development for international travel, Canada has announced the lifting of several remaining pandemic-era border measures. Starting next Monday, fully vaccinated international travelers will no longer be required to submit their information through the Arrive Sion app. Additionally, the government is ending the mandatory random testing program for arrivals at all airports. This move is being widely celebrated by the tourism and airline industries, which have been lobbying for these changes for months. Airline executives believe this will significantly streamline the travel process and boost international tourism just ahead of the busy holiday season. In a statement, the CEO of Air Canada called it a critical step forward in rebuilding Canada's travel and tourism economy. However, public health officials are reminding Canadians to remain vigilant. They stress the importance of staying up to date on vaccinations and continuing to monitor for symptoms, noting that the government reserves the right to reintroduce measures if a new variant of concern emerges. For now, travelers can look forward to a much simpler and faster experience when entering the country. Now for a story developing out of British Columbia. Wildfire crews are battling a new, aggressive blaze that ignited yesterday afternoon in the Okanagan Valley. The fire, now named the Mount Hope Creek Fire, has grown rapidly due to strong winds and unseasonably dry conditions. It has already consumed over 2,000 hectares of forest and is currently threatening several remote communities. Evacuation orders have been issued for approximately 500 homes, and an additional 1,000 residences are on evacuation alert. Air tankers and helicopters are working tirelessly alongside hundreds of firefighters on the ground to establish containment lines. The BC Wildfire Service has described the fire's behavior as erratic and dangerous, A local state of emergency has been declared for the regional district, and reception centers have been set up for displaced residents. Officials are pleading with the public to stay away from the area to allow emergency crews unimpeded access. With a forecast calling for continued hot and windy weather, crews are bracing for a challenging few days ahead. We will continue to bring you updates on this situation as they become available. Shifting gears to technology news, a major Canadian telecommunications company has announced a massive investment to expand its 5G network into rural and remote parts of the country. The multi-year, multi-billion-dollar project aims to bring high-speed internet and reliable cell service to underserved communities. From the coast of Newfoundland to the far reaches of the Yukon. The company says this initiative will bridge the digital divide, providing residents and businesses in these areas with the same level of connectivity enjoyed in urban centers. This is expected to unlock new opportunities for remote work, online education, and telehealth services. The federal government is supporting the project through its Universal Broadband Fund, emphasizing that reliable internet is no longer a luxury, but an essential service. Community leaders in rural areas have welcomed the news, stating it will be a game-changer for local economies and help retain a younger population that often leaves for cities in search of better opportunities and services. The first phase of the rollout is expected to begin early next year, with a focus on communities in northern Ontario and the prairies. Finally, we end on a positive note from the world of sports. The Canadian national women's soccer team has officially qualified for the upcoming World Cup. They secured their spot last night with a decisive 3-0 victory in a thrilling match held in Toronto. The stadium was packed with cheering fans who witnessed a dominant performance from the team, which controlled the game from the opening whistle. The captain scored twice, bringing her international goal tally to a record-breaking number. In a post-game interview, the coach praised the team's resilience and focus, saying, "They represent the best of Canadian sport, and we're all incredibly proud. Now, the real work begins as we prepare for the world stage." The victory sets off a wave of celebration among soccer fans across the nation. The team is now seen as a serious contender for the World Cup title, and expectations are high. The players will return to their professional clubs for a few weeks before regrouping for a series of international friendly matches designed to fine-tune their strategy ahead of the tournament. For ongoing updates, be sure to visit our website and subscribe to our channel. Have a good evening.